Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Faith. Well, you can call me Faith. I'm here for a little story time. A little story time. Hope it makes you laugh. Hope it makes you remember your childhood. Yeah. So let me start. We're not going to stay here too long talking. I'm trying to make it short. So let me. Um. This story is about how I met my grandmother. How I found when I was a little girl. I was about 9, 8, I think, and I have two. Well, I never met my grandfathers, so I can't say how they were, but I had the chance to meet my grandmother from my father's side, which we were not too close. We was not close at all. She was a little caring, but a little bit distant towards us. But you could see how she was reacting with other grandchildren. But anyways, we're not here to hate. She was still I think I was maybe one of her favorite out of my father's children. So although I wasn't feeling that way, but when come to think of it, I was a little one of the favorites. But which passed away, God bless her soul. She passed away. I think it was 2 years ago. And she also went through the process of breast cancer. So all of you who are going through the process, all who are going through the process of breast cancer or any other type of cancer, I pray that things will go well for you. God is watching over you. Don't give up and be strong. Yes, stay strong. The grandmother that I was mostly fan of, or that I was told that I have her attitude, or that I was one of her favorite for sure. One of her favorites. There was many grandchildren, so I don't know for the rest, but I was one of her favorites. So when I was 8, 9 years old, my mother used to take care of my grandmother, which is her mother. This is her mother. We are talking about her mother. She used to take care of her. She used to give her food, bring her breakfast, or whenever she's busy, she would send me, mostly me or any other of her children. So it was mostly me who was doing it. My grandmother was senile, okay? She started getting senile at a certain age. I can't remember what age, but I think she passed away around 90 something or 80 something. I can't remember actually. And that was very hard. That was a hard thing for me. It wasn't really my mother. It wasn't my mother. It was my grandmother. So, but still, it was a really hard process seeing her going through that senile situation all by herself. Remember, she lost her husband when she was very much younger, and my grandmother was very caring and sharing. She loved to bake. She baked. She used to bake bread and cake and all sorts of things, and she would share to the people who come and visit, or the people in the village. I can't remember. I was small, but from what I was told, she was a very sharing and caring and a woman who loved to bake type of person. So you remember back in the days, the people used to have this kind of little baking area to bake your little bread with your whatever. But you understand, if you are 90s child, you will understand, okay? So she also loved to sew. She used to sew. She was a very good sewer. I remember, I think my sister had her sewing machine from years ago. Do you know that kind of black sewing machine they used to have with the little yellow kind of goldish design? Well, that type of machine. I remember when I was small, I tried to use it, and the needle went through my hands, and I took it off. Anyways, back to the story. Kenya, what's up? What happened? Say hi, Kenya. So back to the story. Are you touching it? I was going to say also, my grandmother used to love to travel to England, and I can't remember what other countries, but she used to travel a lot. She loved dressing. She was a very cooking, classy woman. Oh, ça va? Very classy, very respectful woman, from what I remember. And every time she used to travel, she used to bring back a little sweetie, a little thing from a little cake, a little something from England or from wherever, and she used to give it to me. She used to call me Fofo. I think she used to call my sister Fofo as well because our name starts with F. But she used to call me Fofo for short. Fofo. And time she come back from England or wherever, she used to call me, come and get your little sweetie, your little whatever. And I used to be so, where you going? Stay there with me, man. You're making too much noise in people's head. I used to be so excited. You know when you're a child and... Madame, arrête. Tu vas où? Tu vas arrêter là? Bon, so yeah, she used to come back from England for the sweetie and stuff. So one day my mother gave me breakfast to bring for her. Okay, go your way. Do nothing. Oh. So one day, no. She's trying to throw on my ring light. Oh God, child, sit down there. My grandma used to have nice hair though, like that. My mother also have very nice hair, if you know her well. Madame, tu arrêtes, d'accord? On arrête. Bon. One day my mother gave me breakfast to bring for her, and when I entered into the room, I saw she was lying down on her bed, which wasn't, well, it wasn't a surprise to me because remember she's senile, and sometimes you never know what they are up to, you know. So I went to give her breakfast. I went to bring her breakfast for her, and I saw her lying there still. So I got closer. Viens. Tiens. So I went closer, and when I came up closer, I saw that she was lying there very cold, and she was dead. She was no longer with us, and I was a little shocked, but not to the extreme. Like, go ahead. It's like I felt the emotions late after, so I stood there and I watched her a little bit, about 2-3 minutes, and then I went to call my mother. I went to call my mother, and I told my mother that her mother was dead, that she's not moving. I'm calling her and she's not moving and nothing is happening. I was old enough to know when somebody is not alive anymore. So yeah, and then they called ambulance, and when they was leaving with her body, that's when I felt the sadness. That's when I felt really emotional. And that was my favorite grandmother. She was so loving from what I remember. Because if I had to compare both of them, you understand. So yeah, she was so loving and caring, and she was gone. It's so sad how she was during her last years, because you know when you're senile in Dominica, there's no home for the ages. I'm not sure if they have something now, but back then there wasn't any home for the ages, so it was very difficult for people who was senile, and sometimes it was difficult to bathe them, to feed them. Sometimes they become disrespectful, or they curse, or they say certain things. And my grandmother was a very Christian person, but sometimes when she was senile, then you get on her nerves, she would curse you out. In some, maybe she wouldn't use curse words, but she would tell you, leave her alone, and she couldn't remember the faces of her children. She would mix up everyone's name. She would call my mother and Auntie Dolly. She would call Auntie Dolly and Esther, etc. If you know my family, you know. So yeah, sometimes she used to be Leave that alone. So, can you please stop shaking my phone? Yes, so I was saying, she used to be going all in the road. Can I taking all the wipes in the you know? What you doing? Who give you permission to do that? So she was sometimes in the road with no clothes, or with half clothes, or with a diaper, or sometimes, you know, it's very difficult when you are a mother and you're growing your children and you have to take care of a parent which is senile. Sometimes you get stressed, sometimes it can be a very handful thing to deal with. Yes, and I was told I have her nose in a little type of way, that I have her cheeks, that I have some of her attitude. I like to save, I like to hold money, hide up somewhere. And you know, if you know me, you know that I always have $5, €5 hide somewhere. Although I like to share, you give me, I give you, but still, we still like to save a little €5 there. We like to think about tomorrow, what tomorrow may be. You know, we don't like to waste. So if you have a little thing there, a little piece of bread, we can give you a piece of bread, but remember, there's tomorrow. If you eat all the bread today, what bread you have for tomorrow? Yes, that's how I am. So yes, it's very difficult for a person who is senile or who was senile in Dominica. So me personally, if I was fortunate, very much fortunate, my plans, my projects would be to open a home for the ages. Yes, because one day, who says I would not want to go back to my country when I get a certain age? Who said I don't want to leave my retraite, my old ages? Child, arrêtez toucher. Who says I don't want to live my old ages back in Dominica? It was years, what I remaining to live, you know, under this hot sun. I had enough of cold. Even if I don't go down there to stay long, or if I don't go down there to stay for a long period of time, same thing. It would be nice to have a home for the ages in Dominica. After, it's a very, even if it's not a big thing, even if it's a little house, a little upstairs and downstairs house with different rooms, you know, like all this type of hotel type of vibes with many rooms. But if I was fortunate, that's what I would do in Dominica. Very affordable, because remember, taking care taking care of the elderly is very, very expensive. But if I open a home for the ages Dominica, I would rather it be affordable for many people to be able to enter. I'm not looking to break people's hand, etc. I would not look to break people's hand, but remember as well, taking care of elderly people is very expensive. There's the pampers, there's the food, there's the material, the beds. They need special bed, they need special chairs, special things it's very much pricey. Dominica has a lot of how to say that, talented people who can build beds. We don't need to have some kind of fancy things. Dominica have very talented people who can build bed, and knowing the elderlies, they can't sleep on too much high bed because it's very difficult for them to get down. Some people break their bones getting down from their bed. And it also needs a kitchen area, it is a canteen area. So it's a process, it's a plan that needs to be think out, but it's possible. It's possible. It's very much possible. So yeah. So this is my little short story about my favorite grandmother, who I think about now and then, and I feel like she always has been protecting me from up above, you know. I feel like sometimes I feel her presence. I may be exaggerating, but I feel like I feel her presence sometimes. Okay, nothing wrong with that feeling. After it might be some wrong energy that's following me. If it's a wrong energy that's following me, please leave me alone. Yeah, but my grandmother was a very honest and very clean. When I say clean, I mean clean mentally, spiritually, pure, loving, and pure-hearted lady. Okay, so if she wasn't there, I wouldn't be here today. Thanks to her, I think it's thanks to her I have all this lovely shape. And thank you, grandmother. Rest in peace. Also, my other grandmother, rest in peace. My other grandmother was from Woodford Hill side, and if when you just enter Woodford Hill, you can see a little shop. The first shop you see when you enter Woodford Hill, that is my grandmother's shop. So now and then I used to go up there for vacation, and we used to be there, and that's where I get to know her more, in the shop, sometimes at home, but mostly at the shop, because she was a woman who didn't express herself much. She didn't speak much. She was a quiet person. I was a very quiet person. So yes, that's it. So please like and subscribe, and tell me if you like these types of videos where I tell stories. Tell me if I need to impress on telling my stories, because when I tell one story, I tend to leave the story and go to another story, but I always come back to the main story. That's what's important. So peace.